Let's take a look at how many books I sold in September. So September is getting closer and closer to Q4. Now for people who publish on Amzon KDP, Q4 is a fantastic opportunity to sell more books. But have we seen any growth in September? Let's find out. So like always in these videos, I like to go over my goals for September, and then I'll take you through how many books I've sold and how much money I've made. So going to my goals, I wanted to publish 5 books, receive 1,300 book orders, and get to $2,000 in monthly profit. So did I achieve any of these? No, not this month. And normally I'm pretty good with achieving my goals, but there was something that happened this month which made me take a little step back. I actually got a book blocked on Amazon, and instead of just continuing on, I gave it a bit of time and I waited for Amazon to review the book, review my catalogue, and so I took a little step back with Amzon KDP in September. Now this might be the first time that you've heard me mention it on this channel, but I've shared all of the information with everyone on my mailing list. So if you want to get exclusive insights and information around my self-publishing career, make sure to sign up to my email newsletter. You can find a link in the description below. But back to my books. Yeah, it wasn't a great month. So let's see what I actually published. In September, I created 2 books and uploaded them to Amazon. One was a colouring book for adults and the other was a colouring book for kids. But what I did do is I made sure to keep going on YouTube. So I published 6 videos and I got over 51,000 views. And then with my other publishing platforms, which I'd just like to touch upon, on Etsy, I got 3 sales and received $155 in profit. So Etsy is ticking along quite nicely as well in the background, which is great to see. But coming on to what you probably want to know, right? And that's how many books did I sell in September? So in September, even though I only published 2 new books, I made 1,240 sales on Amzon KDP. Now, looking down at that graph, you can see it's pretty steady throughout the whole month, but there was perhaps a few more sales early on in the month. And I think maybe the reason that happened is I actually archived a few books that were selling okay on Amzon KDP. And that's because I was being extra careful and I wanted to make sure I 100% wasn't violating any of Amazon's terms of services. So there's a few books where I was a bit unsure whether, if Amazon did a full review of my account, they might see them as a trademark violation. So I ended up archiving those just to be safe. Because at the end of the day, what's the point in pushing and pushing and pushing on Amazon if then your account's blocked, right? So I wanted to be overcautious. So what I did is I took those books down, and that might be why there's slightly less sales towards the end of September. But even without those books, there's still consistent sales throughout the month. In terms of the marketplaces, you can see here that the US continues to be my #1 marketplace, which makes sense. There's so many more people in America than there is in the United Kingdom. But then having said that, the UK still gets a fair few sales. And that's because I've got a few UK specific books out there as well. And I also run ads in Canada and Australia, so I get some sales from there. And then the other marketplaces are organic. And so generally I just see a few sales trickle in a month like we have done here. Now you know how many books I sold, but what does that look like in terms of money? So in September, I earned $2,674. For my Brits out there, that's around bang on £2,000. The income reflects the orders like you can see in this graph here. But yeah, it was another good, steady month. If you've been following these videos, that's actually less than last month. But as I'll come on to soon, I also spent less on advertising. It's getting up towards that $3,000 level, so we're doing okay. Obviously, I'd like that to increase to $4,000 or $5,000 a month, but this is a journey and we're in the middle of it now, and the idea is it's going to keep going and going as I make more books. So now that you know how much money I made, you need to also know about my expenses, and that's mostly my advertising costs. So coming on to ads, I spent $250 in the USA, £322 in the UK, $80 in Canada, and just $2 in Australia. If you want to pause the video and take a closer look, feel free, but I'm just going to quickly rattle through these. So the ads this month performed much better than last month. And that's because I optimized some of my ads and I also turned off some that weren't really working well for me. So yeah, really happy with these ads. Anywhere below a 25% ACOS is generally relatively profitable for me. And you can see there that I'm almost there in all of my advertising. So to summarize my ad spend, I got 2,674 clicks, spent $736 in total for the month, And while that's still a relatively large amount of money, it's down a fair bit from last month. And then I got 301 orders through ads. Now, I don't normally go too much into my advertising information, but one thing I thought might be quite interesting to share is I tend to get an order every 8.9 clicks. That's from my September data, but that's pretty consistent across the year. So for me, I can extrapolate that and say if it's going to cost me $1 per click, I know that I'd spend on average $8.90 per sale. So that's why you have to be super careful with advertising. You don't want to be spending loads of money if it takes you 9 clicks to get a sale. I think I saw somewhere that, anything below 1 in 10 is decent. So yeah, I'm at 8.9 clicks per order across all of my advertising campaigns. And just to note from my September data, it cost me $2.44 to make a sale through advertising. Now, coming on to my profit, my income for the month was $2,674. My ad spend was $736. My expenses was $36, which is just my Midjourney account, which means my take-home profit for the month is $1,902. In pounds, that's £1,445. So yeah, another decent month of self-publishing on Amazon. As mentioned, I'm super excited for the Q4 period. I'm really hopeful that those orders and the income's going to start rising quite heavily. Will that happen this year? You'll have to stay tuned to the channel to find out. But if we compare that to last September, you can see I made $745. And after advertising, the profit on that was only $118. So in just 1 year, I've gone from $118 profit per month up to $1,900 in profit. So that's a huge increase. And the hope is as I add more books, as I launch them effectively, that income's going to keep on going up. And we can see that in the results for 2024 so far. So you can see here on this lovely Excel graph, the blue bar are my orders. Then that green bar is the profit. So I think it's quite useful to track both of these because obviously you want a lot of orders, but if you're selling loads of books and you're spending a lot of money, what's the point in the orders, right? So I like to track both of those things. So you can see throughout the year, the orders are slowly increasing. But what's even better to see is that profit, the green line, is rising fairly steadily. So yeah, August to September is a little bit lower, but from January through to September, you can see there's quite a nice increase there, gradually month on month. Now just wrapping up September. As mentioned earlier on in the video, if there's one thing that you take out of this is it's not worth the risk to try and publish in areas which maybe you think there's a way to work around trademark terms and trademarked areas. It's just not worth the risk. Getting a book blocked last month was a bit of a wake-up call for me. And, if I can share that message with you, make sure you're not violating any trademarks or infringing on any copyrights. One good thing though from September is I reduced my ad spend and I turned off campaigns that weren't working very well. So that saw a decent amount of profit for the month, even though my orders went down from August. And then with that book that was blocked, I actually took a bit of a step back. I started reflecting on what I want to do for Q4. And that was actually useful time spent for me as well. Now, looking into my goals for October. I want to publish 5 books, but I'm completely focusing on giftable areas. So I'm not just going to make an animal book or a landscape book. I need to think and do some research into what are people buying, what do people love? And those are the books that I'm going to create in October, ready for those gifting opportunities in December. I want to target 1,500 book sales. I didn't get there in September, so the hope is I can get back to there in October. And then I'm going to aim again for $2,000 in monthly profit. I wasn't that far off in September, and I definitely want to get back there in October. And then one final thing is I just want to keep going with this YouTube channel and keep doing my Etsy shop as well. On this channel, we'll also follow my Etsy journey. Amazon KDP is my main focus, but I also do some Etsy content as well. So if that's of interest to you, make sure to stick around. So 2024 so far has been pretty smooth sailing. But in September, I did have that down of having a book blocked. And it kind of made me take a little step back, reevaluate things, and put a plan into place for the months to come. But hopefully that's all resolved now and we can push on and focus on those Q4 sales. How did you get on selling on Amzon KDP in September? Drop a comment down below and let us all know how your publishing journey is going so far. I'll be back next month with another income report, but don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button because I have videos coming out every week. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.